Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Oladipupo, Iyowun, the founder of Nigeria Single Parents Launch. I'm happy to speak with you tonight. Really, I have some things I wanted to discuss with you tonight. It has this event happened last year. I think I should talk about it and drop some few points for my friends online, especially single parents as well. My title is Cluelessness upon Injury. Cluelessness upon Injury. I think it was early or late last year, or middle of last year, a pastor in Abuja committed a heinous crime. We learned he slept with an impregnated, an underage, a 16-year-old girl. And the church was quick to disown and excommunicate him. The said pastor, he was offered and given a suspension immediately, and the church put forth a public defense that the head pastor wasn't ordained by the church. Wow, I was left dumbfounded. And with all due respect to all concerned in this matter, permit me to use this popular adage that says, Abere, Sonu, Alogbe Ipeti Poju to Sonu law. The victim, the lady that was impregnated, and her family must be going through a traumatic experience as we speak, especially the young lady that was sexually abused, that got impregnated by the pastor. I don't claim to know all, neither do I claim to instigate or castigate the action of the church. The following below are my views. As we are all truly and falsely concerned about the victim and the family, may I ask a question? Where do we put, or what do we do with the abuser and his family? That is, the pastor and his own family. Please remember, I am not making a defense for the pastor and his family, but permit me to draw back your attention to the defense of the church. The erred pastor was ordained by the church. Oh, so he said he wasn't ordained by the church. How about for the love of Christ? Is this what Jesus would have wanted or expected from the church? The news has been flying across all media platforms, from social media, radio and television stations, not forgetting the flesh-eating vultures and blood-leaching newspapers in Nigeria who are feeding fat with that terrible story. Wrong crisis management is one of the bane of our churches. Is it because of lack of due diligence or wrong publicity for the church? The church is expected to cover both sides of the victim story. The victimized, the abuser, and the victim. Suspending or punishing the head pastor does not prove a jack. The public defense and the publicity stunt is uncalled for, because no matter the step taken by the church does not speak well of our true evangelism, care, and support. It sounded and pointed on a single side. It was single-sided suggestion or punishment or whatever you may call it. How quick with the speed of light that we condemn our own? How evil-minded are we to let go our own into the pit and gallows? Where is the evidence of practice of what we preach? Jesus said, if a sheep got missing from the flock, the shepherd will leave others and seek diligently for the lost sheep, then bring it back into the fold. Remember this article that I posted last year, or what I'm saying now does not make any defense for the erring pastor? Come to think of it, is there no record and evidences of humongous atrocities committed by ordained pastors in Nigeria? Is that guy the first person that will do such a thing? I am not claiming or defending or encouraging people to do such an act. There are cases of popular and unpopular ordained senior pastors in churches and ministries across board who have committed serious crimes despite evidences put forward, and yet they are still mounting pulpits to minister in the church. Is it from AGOs? Is it from GOs? Is it from regional overseers, assembly overseers? Is it pastors, branch pastors? Is that not an evidence of godfatherism and favorism in our churches and ministries? They employed various methods to bury and cover the atrocities committed by them. They were given a slap at the back of their hands, or given a ticket of go and sin no more. The church and ministry may decide not to have them as ministers at the altar, but they still remain very active in the church administration and special assignments. I am not in any way or at any capacity making up a defense for the erring suspected pastor, as when the pastor was making financial returns to the purse of the church, did the church remember that he wasn't an ordained pastor? Yes, at least was tithe and offering, stuff like that, sending to the church. Was it not? I mean, how can you tell me he wasn't an ordained pastor and yet he was delivering results? When the pastor was grooming and gathering members and crowd for the church, did the church ever see him as an ordained pastor? I want to know. When the pastor was representing the interest and defending the interest of that church through thick and thin weather, did the church see him as an ordained pastor? My concerns are very simple. What is good for the goose is good for the gander. Please note that the pastor in question has family and people who depended on him. So what happened to his family, especially his wife and his children? It is worthy to know that they must have been going through traumatic experiences before the matter got this worse. And now that the last straw has broken the camel's back, what do you think will be or must have happened to them? I was last year when the story broke up, I was like, God, what is going on in the ministry, in our churches? The shame, the ridicule, and the hate from the public, especially from the Christian fold. You can imagine how members, Christians, will look at that pastor as if he's a deputy Satan. The head pastor will bear the brunt. Yes, we know. But what happens to his family? Are his family part of the problem? The church should or must have considered this deeply before suspending the pastor. If the church refused or forgot to consider the after effect of his family, the worst can still happen to them. The wife will turn to a widow overnight, oh yes, and the children becomes fatherless and orphans. The family becomes another burden to another religious center or to the government, where the hate and the ill news about the church in question will flow freely and ripple effects are unimaginable. The church should not be so much concerned about her popularity and the name in public domain. There is nothing new under the sun, they say. The church and the true Christians should be more concerned about the pastor and his family, not just busy by pointing accusing fingers at the head pastor. Even the victim too that was raped and impregnated, they need to be catered for. Unbelievers have things to work with by the action of the church. If they could treat their own this way, definitely they are just a bunch of hypocrites using the name of Jesus to cover up their identity. Let us drop back to the abuser. The head pastor that has been excommunicated and suspended from the church. Is that the best the church could do? Is that the best the church could offer? I see the head pastor as a lost sheep. But come to think of it, there must and there is something, situation and capacity that drew and attracted the lost sheep away from the fold or flock, which is the point the churches has been missing for decades. Churches are into faith, healing, deliverance and prayer, yet we have our own who got disengaged and excommunicated by those vital things we ignore and look away, properly avoid them like plague, and it has come to haunt the churches in a payback series. Once somebody offends or misbehaves, they were totally excommunicated. Are they adding to the problem or they are solving the problem? Once a minister leaves a particular church, maybe for a particular thing, another assignment, they will be excommunicated. Why? Why do we always avoid the truth and shy away from it? We prefer to practice hypocrisy and cover up our shame and disgraces, as the devil has carpeted what we covet and expose our shame in public. The suspended pastor cannot and should not be single-handedly be crucified and look away from the errors and failure of the church. What do you think can make a man that is married, respected and blessed with a happy family and children to stoop so low to rape an underage, even impregnate her? What could lead such a man to that level? Please don't tell me if he was of his father's house. I don't want to hear that. There are cases of serving ordained pastors that have been separated from their wives and families because of the call and ministerial transfer to another state or another country. What should happen to the wives of those pastors transferred abroad? They will be burning, yearning for sex. Who handles that? They will end up sleeping with choir master. There are cases of ordained pastors serving under churches and ministries with evidences of pornographic videos and images on their smartphones and laptops. These pastors have resorted to masturbations in secret, or they have a side chicks, or they have side chicks that serve and attend to their sexual needs. So how can you transfer a man, separate a man from his family, his wife, and post him abroad? So how does he take care of his sexual need? I want to know. There is no way you can be Jesus. Please, if you keep sending pastors out of their homes to go to foreign missions, to go to churches, to go to another state and represent your church, and their wife and children are left behind, I beg, when will all this madness stop? Who will satisfy them sexually? Is it the choir mistress? Is it is it a side chick? While they are there abroad. So I was wondering why the church was so quick to condemn and excommunicate the head pastor, no matter what or the offense. So suspending or castigating or excommunicating the pastor is the best solution, along with the publicity stunts defense by the church spokesperson. Is that what the church can offer? Oh boy. Like I said earlier, I lay no claim or build any defense for the head pastor. Besides, I have never met him or have knowledge of his identity. I am a father too. I have a wife, I have kids. I have a lovely daughter and sons, and can't stand or allow a sick fellow around my kids. Is this the best the church or the Christian Association of Nigeria and Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria can do or can offer regarding cases like this? I was wondering, what if the head pastor is one of the family of the senior pastors, general overseers, or the head pastor is married to one of the families of the GOs, or is an in-law to one of the senior pastors or general overseers? Here lies a deep, humongous, gigantic, mammoth questions seeking for answers and solutions. Please, it is just my view. Don't make it personal. You are free to condemn and criticize this video or this write-up. It's a free world. But mind you, your input is so important in order to avoid and prevent such disaster in future. When it comes to managing crisis, the church should look inward. Don't condemn your own and throw them to the dogs. As I'm talking to you now, have they even asked what happened to that pastor, his family, his wife, or the girl that was impregnated, that was impregnated? The trauma they must have gone through or they are going through presently. I'm just trying to make a sense out of all this. Thank you very much. Oladipupo Iyowun is my name, the founder of Nigeria Single Parents Lounge, and I hope to see you again. Cheers.